I'm Maxi and you're watching Meraxus TV. We are here at the K 2022, the world's leading exhibition for the plastics and rubber industry. And when you walk around this trade fair, it becomes obvious once again, sustainability is one of the major challenges of our generation. Is the automotive industry also in track to meet its sustainability targets? Let's find it out. A very warm welcome to the Executive Director Automotive at Meraxus, Dr. Philippos Diakavaras.
Hello, Maxi.
Hello, good to have you here. So, first of all, you are having an automotive division at Meraxus?
Yeah, it's actually pretty new. We're starting with getting in new materials in, trying to support the automotive industry. And as a hobby, we are handling the whole purchasing and procurement activities of our sister company, Reha Automotive. So we are close linked there. We are in the supply chain and try to support these activities there. Yeah, so it's a double role.
You are real experts. So hopefully we find a proper answer to the following question. What is the central issue when it comes to sustainability in the automotive industry?
Oh, this is a very good question. Yeah, we need to start with this topic in regards of CO2 and carbon dioxide emission reduction. So this is one of the key topics. The automotive industry has been in the past very good in using plastics for metal because it's lightweight, its metals are corroding, which plastics don't do, heat absorption and so on. So this is one of the key topics, and you need to look at it among the full supply chain, from the production to the end consumer, and this is our key tasks there, to focus and to get better there.
So what role do play plastics there?
Yeah, a very significant role actually. I mean, if you see, the automotive industry has gone through a big change over the years from metal to plastics. This was a long run. We are now starting to changing there. We need now to see what ingredients go into the plastics
it's
to
lighter,
change it.
Right?
Correct, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And on the other side, you have now to start seeing as well with new upcoming materials like bio-based, from hemp, potatoes, corn, and so on. And with these topics, you need to really see how you can get to a closed loop, how you can get the CO2 emissions further down.
It seems to be really important for the automotive industry to rethink the whole value chain. What makes it so difficult?
Yeah, this is a very important topic. We are all starting with this CO2, carbon footprint, emissions reduction. We are at very early stages. So we need to go away. We have a long run there to go. And therefore we need experience, we need same quality. Availability of materials is not really there, because the production focus is to not reduce any waste. And this is not giving you sufficient quantities and the same level of quality.
Mm-hmm. This comes true also when we're talking about PIR and PCR, right?
Yes, correct. This is the one thing is post-industry recycling and post-consumer recycling. So we need to look in both fields. What waste is produced during the production phase and what is produced at the end consumers, like all of us. And are we consequent separating waste? Are we looking into the topics in regards of being good in separating and bringing it back into the system? And in the production, I mean, the key focus is that your production should not produce any waste at all, because then you're inefficient, and costs are one of the key drivers in automotive. So availability is then the second topic there that we're having.
So what is the challenge with a PCR?
The challenge is that during the last years, and Corona had shown it, that there have not been so many events like this great car fair that we're having here. So there have not been produced a lot of waste, like these one-way bottles, one-way bags, packages, and so on. So there's a limitation of availability. The industry has as well started to learn that we should limit waste. All of us are looking more on, okay, how can we reduce waste? How can we not have packaging over packaging and so on? So there's a lot of activities being there in the industry to reduce this, and the industries in the production side for the PIR has been as well going to a point where you look as well to reduce waste, to be better in your production, and to not have so many failures, so many waste produced there. So this is actually the big challenge. And then you don't, by recycling the grades, you're not having the same quality, which are still in early stages, which we need to develop further.
So the challenge is the same quality, but on the other hand, we are also having a fundamental problem with the waste management, right?
Yes, this is, yeah, correct, this is true. I mean, if you see on the products, we need to start looking into the development phase, and our engineers have to come to a point where they need to start in the way of designing topics in regards of design for recycle, design for reuse, to have a closed loop there. I mean, we are having, for instance, if you see a car production, what's happened at the end of the car production and of the end of the life end of the car? How are we getting the components out of the car and bring them back into the process? So this is the topic that we need to focus more. So the designers and the engineering departments are asked to drive this and to take this as a key challenge for the future.
We also have to talk about bio-based materials. What's the challenge there? Is that an alternative?
Bio-based materials are a good alternative and something that we need to develop further, and we need to spend more efforts in designing and developing these products. There are materials out of ham, materials out of potato, corn. Potatoes, yeah.
Really?
Bamboo is another topic that might be used, as an alternative for glass as a filler to make materials strong. But the problem is there with these bio-based materials, it has not to interfere with food. You have a lot of people out there and a lot of countries where it's difficult to find enough food. So this is one of the problems that we need to focus on and to see is enough fields available, not to interfere with people and with food that actually can be used, because this would be the other route.
So, in addition to this, the demand of bio-based materials increases, and so does the price, of course. So, basically, talking about law, the supply chain law, would this be also an option to support the industry? Is such a law the right way?
Laws, regulations, and our car manufacturers, the OEMs, our partners, are supporting this whole process thinking as well. The community is now looking at the focus. Okay, what kind of waste has been produced, and then the TÜV and the VDA is supporting this as well. So there's a complete mind change. There's a lot of efforts and activities there, but we're in a very, very early stage. So we need time to develop. We need time to grow there. And yeah, the future will tell how we're going there.
Yes, and one thing is certain, the companies, the industry must be prepared, right?
Yes, this is very true. This is why Merax is one of a great partner here to help. We have all the quality certificates to support this business, to support the growth, and as well supporting with this the whole CO2 reduction activities. So yeah, Merax is one of the key players there, and we're driving this.
Good news. So what are the to-dos for companies except then rethink the production and the value chain?
There are a lot of things, One thing is what we are doing. Let me say it this way. What we are starting to do is in our sourcing process, the way we find and identify new players, we put a complete new set of environmental into our sourcing decisions. So we're not looking anymore on the price, purely on the price driven. So more things in regards of environmental, CO2, what they have produced in their supply chain, what they have produced in their production. So these are things that go in there. And on the other side, what we have to take as well in consideration in this whole topic is that we need to rethink our strategy in sourcing near, the distance. In the past, there was a big driver in the automotive industry to go offshore, to do best cost country and so on. And we are now in the phase of nearshoring. We try to find and identify back to the suppliers that are close and around our production sites.
So thank you very much for your valuable contribution. I learned so far that the current level of sustainability invest across the industry isn't enough. And yes, company must be prepared what comes up and must rethink their production processes. And of course, Meraxis is there to support on that path. So, ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for watching. That was another episode of Meraxis TV. Follow us on LinkedIn and stay tuned for further episodes.
Thank you, Maxi.